Welcome back. So start the newspaper review with The Nation. 10th Senate, APC wins 51 seats. PDP 27, LP 5, SDP 2, YPP 1, MPP, NNPP 1. Polls cancellation call. Federal government eminent Nigerians lambast Obasanjo. Tinubu is president-elect. INEC declares APC candidate winner with 8,794,726 votes to get certificate of return at 3 p.m. APC Tinubu Shetima urged courts to prevent stoppage of results collation by INEC. Lighting of Oyo streets here. So we have provided over 280 kilometers of public lighting through the Light Up Oyo project. This has enhanced economic activities as markets remain open for longer hours. It has also improved security in our state. We will do more in our second term, Governor Sheyi Makinde. What stories do we have in The Nation?
Okay, I've got the major headline, and it says, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will succeed President Muhammad Buhari May 29th. His march to Aso Villa to become Nigeria's 5th president in the 4th Republic followed his victory in Saturday's presidential election. INEC announced, INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu had announced this at 4:10, 10 minutes past 4 this morning in Abuja. And the candidates, of course, that we know, the APC polled 8.8 million votes to defeat his closest rivals, Atiku Abubakar of PDP and peterobi of LP, and also Rabiu Kwankwaso of Nigerian People's Party. There were 14 other candidates who contested for these elections as well. And announcing the results, INEC says that Tinubu Bola Ahmed of APC, having satisfied the requirements of the law, is hereby declared the winner and returned elected. And so Tinubu and his vice president-elect, Kashim Shettima, would get their certificates of return today at 3 p.m.
Okay, I have the story on the National Assembly. So out of the 109 seats at the National Assembly, now INEC has declared 92 of those seats, elected, or, those are the seats that, they have released their results on. And out of the 92, APC has 51 seats. And I must use the opportunity to congratulate my friend, my sister and mentor, Senator-elect Adebule, the former Deputy Governor of Lagos, who is also representing my constituency now in Lagos West. She's elected also. And the numbers continue to spread, with PDP having 27 seats and Labour Party having 5 seats. I'm happy to find out that the SDP has 2 seats as well. SDP is one party that you should study its manifesto very well. They have good plans as well. And then the YPP has a seat at the House. So 17 seats are not yet filled. And we're waiting for, what will happen. Some of them have their elections outside the general elections, like, the one that filled the vacancy in Lagos with Abiru becoming the senator for Lagos East. So we have some seats with senatorial seats not within the general elections that are, and some not yet declared by INEC. We're waiting to see.
Yeah, so we still have the issue of cash scarcity. Said over 3 days after the presidential and National Assembly elections, and we know the reason for the cash crunch because of the new Naira design and the new policy for withdrawals. So he said many of the banks in Victoria Island, Lagos, Matori and Obanikoro, there was no cash payments across the counter, and there were a lot of long queues. So many branches are still not even open for business. The few that are open, they close their branches early. The banks used to close at 3 to 4 p.m. business days, but now they close about 12 to 1 p.m. and they are still rationing cash to customers. So from 10,000 to 20,000, people have to keep going back to get money. Sometimes the ATM just disburses just 5,000 naira. So let's move on now to The Punch. Polls. Fuel hits 300 litre as marketers halt loading. 76% of CBN anchor borrowers yet to repay loans. Uproar as candidates reject National Assembly poll results. Obasanjo partisan trying to truncate democracy by federal government. Tinubu in clear lead. APC candidates file suit to stop INEC, others from halting collation. INEC insists election credible, tells parties to seek legal redress. West African Elders Forum, Jonathan, former presidents, others visit Tinubu. Okay, what stories do we have in the Punch?
Okay. The Punch carried the story of the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, who had, in a letter written, which he also read out in a broadcast, calling on the president and INEC to stop the process of collation of results as at yesterday. And he, in that broadcast, had said that they should prevent what he called an election injustice, electoral injustice. Unknown to him, personal opinion now, INEC is a body created by law. Asking him to do something outside what the law enables him to do, asking the INEC chairman to extend his powers from a former president seems funny. But then, you know, this, of course, had opened him up to criticism, even from the PCC, the presidential campaign committee of the APC, and several other ex-leaders like himself, where people, all of them have called him out for what he did, saying that, you know, it was anti-democratic, what he was asking for. Also, he had in the past shown himself to be partisan because he has an endorsed candidate in these elections, unlike all other ex-leaders who choose to be neutral and unbiased in the face of things. And going further to ask that a system of democracy be truncated is something that, you know, amazed a lot of them. And so they called him out on this particular report. You can refer to the Punch for details.
Now, what story do you have, Amira?
I've got IMF has disclosed that only 24% of loans disbursed under the Anchor Borrowers Program of CBN have been repaid. The IMF selected issues paper on Nigeria shows that agricultural credit in the country has not significantly boosted production, even though there is a challenge of targeting the right recipients for the credit. And also, they say the weak effect of agricultural credit on production growth could be associated with difficulties in targeting these recipients. And they also noted that the form of repayments have been very low, especially while CBN is allowing farmers to pay in kind or cash. And they said part of the problem is that incentive structure for repayment is weak. The recipient loans are not always well targeted, and occasionally the funding is used for other purchases, like new agricultural input trading companies, illicit trading rents. And we have the National Secretary, Afan Yunus Ayabua, said, our members have benefited from the program, but most people who benefited from ABP are not Nigerian farmers. I must confess that to you. That is why today, you know, all the complaints that they're having about the repayment of the loans. It's always good to get feedback like this to see. It's really at 24%, especially I didn't even know that you could pay either in cash or in kind.
Yes. So it's sad also is the fact that we could not do this based on data. You know, there's a section in our chapter 2, the chapter 2 of our constitution that allows you to have ancestry around West Africa and still be able to be Nigerian. So if you can trace it in any of the migrating tribes. And so we have these things where we cross border to benefit among countries, you know, in our neighboring countries. And so this is very possible, what he has said, that most of them are not Nigerian farmers. They could be farming somewhere else. And so tracing the money will be difficult. So we need to do more when it comes to data of who is Nigerian exactly and who is not. Very important.
So I took a story inside. Journalists remanded for allegedly blackmailing Bauchi governor. So the Chief Magistrate Court 3 sitting in Bauchi State, presided over by Ahmed Musa on Tuesday, remanded the publisher of Times, an online media outfit based in the state, Haruna Mohammed, for allegedly inciting disturbance of public peace to blackmail the state's governor, Bola Mohammed. So a copy of the allegations being levied against Haruna, which he's 32 years old, which was cited by the correspondent, he said that he showed the state's Commissioner of Police, Aminu Hassan, accused journalists of hiring some women to incite disturbance of public peace by instigating them to make utterances that will prejudice the peace and well-being of voters at a polling unit in Duguri ward of Al-Kaleri local government area to blackmail the governor in his ward, contrary to 114 of the penal code. So the case has been taken to court. I think it's been adjourned as well, and justice will likely be served in this. So let's move on now to stories. The Sun. PDP LP step up pressure on INEC to cancel exercise, order fresh poll. I won't quit. Challenge results in court, INEC boss replies. Police arrest alleged syndicate over beavers manipulation in Abuja. Why Abia Charter of Equity can't be ignored, mascot Kalu. Presidential election, Tinubu beats Atiku, will be in votes volume as APC PDP LP tie in states won. APC garners 8.76 million votes in 32 states. FCT wins 12 states. PDP gets 7.60 million votes, wins 12 states. LP records 5.83 million votes, clinches 12 states. The rest is an advertorial. So what do we have in the Sun? What stories do we have in the Sun?
Somebody has a start story there.
You didn't start a story. I think I have a story in the Sun. Okay, let's take a short break. When we come back, we continue the newspaper reviews. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. So we are still on the Sun. Do you have
the story of the youngest House of Reps member in these elections, coming from Kebbi State. Ibrahim Bello Mohammed of the PDP is 27. He will be representing the Benin, Kebbi, Kaugo, and Bunza Federal Constituency of Kebbi State in the new House of Reps in the new assembly that is coming up. And this is amazing, because we young people we've been shouting not too young to run forever, and now we have young people coming up. I'm going to be selecting more young people in the House and young people vying and winning offices going forward. Let's just say congratulations to the people of Kebbi State and the young man, and I hope he does better than the older generation like to criticize.
Yeah.
Governor Dave Umahi of Ebonyi State has directed security agents to spare no resources in unmasking the killers of Eziogo Ibokwe Ewa, a traditional ruler in one of the communities in Ezza North local government area. He was a first-class traditional ruler who was killed in his residence on Monday night by unknown gunmen. The governor said that he's saddened by the news that he first heard of it when the son of the traditional ruler called him from his hideout to explain to him what had happened to them, and he immediately sent the police and army to the compound and also to help rescue them. And so there are stories about back and forth whether it had to do with his political leanings, and the governor has said that he's making sure that this does not go, uninvestigated. He's asking the police to do everything to make sure that those who are behind this killing are brought forward.
Yeah, so there's a story I missed in the Punch. Let me quickly take it. All marketers yesterday said many depots have stopped loading premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, due to the apprehension caused by the collation of results of the general elections across the country. They said filling stations operated by major marketers and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited were selling petrol between 194 naira per litre and 200 naira per litre. They say other outlets operated by independent marketers dispense the product between 250 to 340 per litre. And this was despite the insistence of the federal government that there was no approval for an increase in pump price of petrol. And also, government had demanded that the fuel be dispensed above the approved rates. But government has not approved any rates above what they had said initially. So the people are just saying that a lot of the filling stations may not be open to selling because some people do not want to sell below what they are going to be benefiting from. So they said NNPCL retail stations are believed to be selling PMS at the approved price. Many of them sell the commodity at 194, 195. So if you are looking for fuel, you could find those ones around you to patronize them. They said most of the depots have stopped loading fuel because they are not sure of what's going to be happening. So let's move to the Nigerian Tribune. Opposition parties demand election cancellation, fresh polls. Okowa, Dati insists collated results illegal. say electoral umpire preparing grounds for illegitimate government. Jonathan Mahama, other West African leaders sue for calm. Wants INEC to address procedural concerns, comply with electoral law, meet with Atiku, Obi, Kwakwanso, Tinubu in peace move. Tinubu is president-elect. INEC declares him winner at 4:10 a.m. to receive certificate of return by 3 p.m. today. Supporters flood his Abuja house. APC candidate garners 8 million votes, victorious in 12 states. Atiku gets 6.9 million votes, wins 12 states. Obi gets 6.1 million votes, tops in 11 states plus FCT. Kwakwanso wins 1 state. What stories do we have in the Nigerian Tribune?
Yes, I have former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan and ex-Ghanaian President John Mahama and other members of the West African Elders Forum, YF, election mission to Nigeria have appealed for calm in the country. They also charged INEC to address the concerns and procedural questions raised so far by different stakeholders. The elders have also implored INEC to comply with the electoral law and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a means of retaining the confidence of Nigerians in the ongoing collation of February 25th presidential election. They have also said that they have begun a process of consultations with some of the presidential candidates and other key stakeholders, and they are taking to them the message of peace in order to prevent breakdown of law and order in the country. They also mentioned some of the people that they have met so far, and all of them, you know, we have they've met with all the candidates for APC, Labour Party, NMP, and PDP, and you know they've signed this saying that we should all, you know, asking Nigerians to exhibit calmness and patience and also show maturity during this process while we wait for it to be concluded. So I guess this report is based off of yesterday. As of today, the collation has been concluded, and we'll hear from them.
Do you have any stories? The Nigerian Tribune. Okay, so SoftShark recently released the Global Internet Value Index, which uncovers countries that are overpaying for their internet connection plan. They say Nigeria is in 109th place in the world with an index 44 times lower than the global average. Oceania and Europe lead the world in internet value, while internet affordability in North America, South America, and Africa is below average. So globally, only 4 out of 10 people get their internet at fair prices, while the remaining 61% overpay for internet that they get. They give us the data saying they calculate by dividing each country's internet speed by internet affordability to determine which countries are overpaying for their internet. So according to their data, Nigeria ranks 109th globally with an index of 0.0017, which is 44 times lower than the global average, meaning Nigerians are overpaying for the internet they get compared to other countries worldwide. I think Ghana is also overpaying, you know, just data of the countries that are actually overpaying for their data, and we need to do more to reduce some of these prices. Okay, our last paper for today. I don't think we'll have time to read this, but let me just go through the headlines. The Guardian. Federal government replies, caution Obasanjo against truncating electoral process. Trist wants REC redeployed ahead of Guba legislative polls. Ikpeazu loses Senate bid to Abaribe in Abia South as INEC reverses self. Concerns as energy crisis spikes haulage caused by 71%. Amid protests, INEC declares Tinubu winner, and the rest is advertorial. All right, I think that's all we can take on the newspaper reviews. When we come back, we move on to our hot topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared Asiwaju Bola Tinubu of all Progressive Congress, APC President-elect, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, chairman of the commission, pronounced Tinubu President-elect at exactly 4:10 a.m. on Wednesday. That's early this morning. He said Tinubu polled a total of 8,794,726 votes to defeat the People's Democratic Party PDP rival Atiku Abubakar, who polled 6,984,520 votes, while Peter Obi of the Labour Party secured 6,101,533 votes, and Rabiu Kwakwanso of the New Nigerian People's Party trailed with 1,496,687 votes. So this was the news that we woke up to this morning. So ladies, I'm going to come to you on this. A lot of people have been anticipating since the elections. But before I come to the ladies, let's watch these clips.
1,542. Shore Omoyele Stephen of the AAC, 14,608 votes. Sani Yabagi Yusuf of the ADP, 43,924. Kachiku Dumebi of the ADC, 81,990. 8,794,726. Umiaji Peter Nana Chukudi of Abga, 61,166. Okay.
So before the ladies, do not forget to join the conversation and call us on 08127053687, 09139076948. I would love to hear your thoughts about this announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up?
Keenly contested elections, and let me quickly say congratulations once again to the president-elect Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And we saw the elections bring us surprises. Surprises from everywhere. Even the APC chairperson couldn't deliver his own word. That's how surprising these elections were across board. We saw sitting governors losing their senatorial bid. Governor Yadi of Cross River could not deliver his own constituency. He didn't win that. The governor of Benue, Otom, lost his own seat. So you were past the age of strong, old, and local lords when it comes to elections. Now, the people have taken over elections. I particularly, I saw what happened on my page when I posted. My daughter and myself were making dinner, and my phone has suggested she does a reel from my stories in the past, and they all popped up. I said, okay, make a reel. That's how reels are made. And then she goes on and said, okay, mommy, let me write something. I said, no, don't do something elaborate. This is Nigeria. This is when Nigerians are at the polls. Put the Nigerian anthem as the song. And
well, she made those posts.
She did that post. And I said, just write, thank you, Nigerians. And I saw people come with hate under the comments. I was like, you don't even know what I am thinking. Where I am at now, you can't interpret. And that's the mistake we all make. To assume that your pain is being celebrated by another person based on their post, that's not the way we should go. These elections showed us different. I have witnessed at least 5 elections now as an adult. And I would say this one was the lesson learned. This is the one that came with the most lessons. There are some assumptions and presumptions you could fly with in the past elections. This one shut people up. We lost polling units, we lost states, we lost, across board, across parties. In fact, Lagos, APC lost Lagos. At the time we were following the elections, the numbers, I was wondering, no, he's Lagos now, and he's from Lagos now, and but the Lagosians have been woken up. They've seen things differently. We've seen polling units, strongholds this was an election that people sat up to follow numbers. For those of us who have always been interested in politics, I miss my father now, I sat up. I tried to nap, I couldn't sleep. My phone kept ringing, I had to put it on, you know, busy the number and do all of that. But yet, even I couldn't find rest. I was counting votes. And so we've seen that elections can't be done differently from these elections. This was a keenly contested one. Personally, I believe, which is why I disagreed with the former ex-president when he read his letter, that why would you ask somebody to go outside the legitimate powers of his office and do something based on your whims and emotions? That is not something that you should come from somebody of his caliber. When they say in Yoruba culture, that which is the tribe where he's from, that when the elder is at home, you don't see the new baby's head bend on their mother's back. But when the elder himself is the one bending the back, the baby's neck, then that's a major problem. He should try, going forward, to separate himself from what is happening, so that when it's in his direction, you can then give that direction. You don't show sides. You must learn to be unbiased, neutral, and transparent as an elder, and objective to see things better. So I love these particular elections, the trajectory of it, and the outcome of it. The way it has shown that Nigerians only can decide what will happen is one thing I love about it the most. It will encourage people to going forward to come out, to trust that, you know, their votes would actually count. We've seen this happen.
Let's come to Miriam. What were your thoughts about the...
You know, even from the registration, when INEC was releasing people who had registered for their PVCs collected, we already knew that this election was the elections for the youths. We knew that the youths were going to come out, and I'm so proud of Nigerian youths. A lot of people have made it look like the way it went was about ethnicity of the candidates, or maybe, you know, or religion. But it wasn't. It was about the young people deciding, this is my country, and I have a say. And I'm going to determine, you know, who gets what and who goes where. And I was so proud of Nigerians, because we went to the polls, we stayed there, we were there to make sure that our votes were uploaded and sent. People were sending from their polling units exactly what the polls were at each polling unit. We didn't used to have that. If you were good enough or kind enough, you would just go and vote and you find your way home. But this time, people sat there and made sure that their votes counted. And it just goes to show that when people say that, you know, it's not, you cannot keep blaming other people for things that happen to you. That's what happened with this election. People realize that it is their responsibility, and you cannot blame anyone. And so they took that responsibility and they went far with it. I know that there are grouses here and there. Some people are upset about how it has finally, the final results. But I'm also happy that we have a process. Because for me, what I'd always prayed for throughout Saturday, what my family and I were praying for was, you know, that we would not truncate what we have started with violence and things like that. And I'm happy that there's a process that Nigerians also can follow to see, you know, to seek redress. And I also want to say that we as Nigerians have learned. We're learning I can see the growth, democracy is growing, but I can also see that our politicians are getting the feedback. They now understand that it's not okay, it's not enough, you know, to just be a name. It's not enough to just be from a particular place. It's not enough to have been there and have run for office in the same place over and over again, and so it almost becomes like your birthright. People are going to question you.
Yes.
Now, when you come back to campaign, you understand, and if you get into an office, you understand that
do well.
You know that there's nothing guaranteed. You will come, you will explain to them what you want to do, how you've done it so far. And if they're upset with you, you know, so I am excited because we now have a much more informed electorate. I mean, things have changed, and that's what I'm excited about.
I also love the fact of, that, okay, at my polling unit, I was assaulted I voted at Ojo Ward 10, and we're just standing and having a conversation because I was feeling very sick. I had gone in the morning, confirmed that I was at that polling unit still, and then I went back to nap. I came back in the afternoon because electoral materials came in around 11 a.m. And so I went back, I slept, and I came back around some few minutes to 2 in the afternoon to cast my vote. By the time I came back, for some reason, one man thought it was okay to assault me. He insisted I moved out of the line for him, and I said, please don't push me. I'm recovering. I'm just managing to stand. Because we had to stay on the queue. There were no exceptions, but he then decided to brush me off the line.
Wow.
And I didn't even know where power came from, but as he bent again, I beat him back. I pushed him right back.
You remember your bed?
I pushed him right back. And at the moment that happened, I saw people stand up for me, and people, cautioned him vehemently. He continued to shout. I continued to insult him. And people were like, no, why would you, At the polling unit, people speaking his own language, cautioned him. They warned him sternly. And I loved the fact that you didn't used to be. You had to carry your own battle. But, Nigerians were not in the mood. They were not going to allow one bad egg disrupt a peaceful election. It was largely peaceful. There were no fights after that because immediately I voted, I left. I didn't sit to count my vote because of my health. But they made sure there were no fracas, nothing happening. And please, don't allow that. People were like, why would you do that? And they cautioned him, and they gave me room to move forward. To, as a madam, okay, would you know, you can stay here. And immediately I was noticed, and I was allowed to vote. And I love that, we enforced that. I was looking up to the police officer to see if we could do something initially, and I just thought, help yourself first. But, Nigerians ensured that at that polling unit, there was peace. That we did not have an issue of a fight. Because the moment both of us started, if he had done something further, it would have escalated. They immediately called him out for the embarrassment that he was, and were able to vote. And so Nigerians have taken charge. That's the good part of all of this. We are voting, unlike before. We are also ensuring that our votes count. People slept over days, videos showing people sleeping for days, waiting for the uploading of the results and all of that, and people counting votes along. So you could see at the collation centers within states, in Lagos particularly, the Labour Party woman had results from her polling units that she was comparing with the results, and which ensured that, the final results gave victory to her party. She did a good job. That particular woman should be recognized. She did a good job, but she relied on figures from polling units. So there's one thing I would like to clear, that people think when they say upload results, it was electoral officers typing it. No. Result from each polling unit is captured in documents, not typed in. So it's not like you're typing a court party and you do a mistake and give it to Action Congress. No. You're capturing exactly as it is entered by pen. And so she could rely on that. No mistakes could be allowed to pass. So we had a process where you could say the best was done, even though you cannot say it was perfect. But you had something that you could, rely on, except you don't understand elections and electoral practices.
All right, let's take a short break. When we come back, we take phone calls and messages. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. Joining us on the show is the custodian of the Yoruba culture and the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi, the Ojaja II, Imperial Majesty, and he will be speaking on his assessment of the conduct of the last Saturday's presidential election and the National Assembly polls across the country. Welcome, His Imperial Majesty, sir.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing today, sir?
Well, very happy that it's all well in Nigeria.
Okay.
Because we don't have anywhere to go to.
All right. So at about past 4 a.m. this morning, the APC presidential candidate was declared the winner. That's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the 2023 presidential elections. How do you react, sir? What was your first reaction?
Well, my reaction, basically, because I followed it through, a very humbling result, a very, very humbling result. And what do I mean? The people that did not vote for him, I mean the electorate, were actually more than the people that voted for APC and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
That's true.
And yet, he became the president of their country. A very humbling result. And that result has a lot of permutation and meaning. It takes the deep to understand how can you go into a competition and the people that voted against you combined together were more than the people that voted you to become the president of the country. That's a very humbling result. It takes someone very peculiar, someone that has some very strong forces of nature that conspired in his favor to get into that height. And that is the president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a very peculiar child of destiny, specially created by God Almighty. So for me, it's a very humbling result. Very, very humbling.
Kabiesi, I am aware that during his campaign he went far and wide, and he also was at Osun State and visited the palace at some point. Now, you know, you've mentioned that he's a person of destiny. Your personal view of him, meeting him one-on-one, how would you describe his personality as an adult?
Well, again, if I go on and on about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we will take the whole day to talk about him. A lot of people hate him, love him. God actually has created him. And he has been a very consistent, I repeat, very consistent in his beliefs as a political icon, his virtues. He's someone that doesn't jump around. He has a brand, and he sticks to his brand from inception, a progressive by excellence, very generous, and he puts his interest first in anything he does. And the kind of person God created him to be is what is paying off now. I say to people that he's someone that has never lost election. He goes at the right, he gets into it, he's very strategic in his thinking, in his thoughts and words, and he goes for it. A lot of people don't know that he has actually supported a lot of presidential aspirants. He supported all the way MKO Abiola. He supported all the way Nuhu Ribadu. He supported all the way His Excellency Atiku Abubakar himself. He supported all the way our current president, Muhammadu Buhari. Then, the time that is right for him to strike and go for the destiny call, he went for it and he came out very successful. Although a very troubled water, because the risk, I wouldn't even encourage any Nigerian to take it again. A very risky Muslim ticket. Because his votes, actually, we shouldn't. That's why I said it's a very, very pregnant, very deep selection process. Because this voting pattern has to do with religious and tribal pattern. Let's be very, very factual. And that was actually what happened across voting pattern. Christians voted en masse and they decided to waste their votes. They even said it. that yes, it's better for us to waste their vote if the country will not be sensitive enough to carry us along. But you know, God actually created him to be very liberal, very, very accommodating. He married a Christian, and God sees his heart, because God is very with us in this country. And whoever that says that we are too godly, it's a very, very, very complicated country to rule, a complicated country to govern, yet we are full of diversity. But this election really is a watershed for a corporate existence and the continuity of Nigeria. As a father now, my view of him now, he has said it. He really won my heart the more. And I'm very proud as a Yoruba man for him.
All right, Kabiyesi.
This is our...
Let's go on a short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We still have the Ooni of Ife with us. Kabiyesi, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Miriam had a question.
Yeah, so Kabiyesi, just before the final collation and announcement by INEC, we had the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, release a letter. I would like to know what your reaction is to the letter and the sentiments that he talked about.
Well, President Obasanjo is an elder statesman, and that has actually passed now. INEC has announced too much tension then, just a few hours ago, but thank God Almighty that riots and protests didn't erupt to that effect. But you know, an elder statesman made his own views based on what he has seen. But the country is bigger than all of us, including himself, myself, and whoever that have found themselves in the position of authority. Nigeria will always resolve ourselves as a nation. So thank God Almighty, the tension has actually doused. So for me, the letter we shouldn't place so much emphasis on it. We have so much to do. Nigerians have suffered enough. And I thank God Almighty for the emergence of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Omoluabi par excellence. Like I said, I'm very proud that he's a Yoruba man, a Yoruba leader. Because he said something during his speech. He said, I am now your servant, I'm not your leader. And he played so much emphasis on the youth. So, like I said, it's a very humbling result. And for him, he has rendered himself. So, let us focus more and don't let us deliberate on the letter of President Olusegun Obasanjo. He has paid his own dues in this country as a soldier, a military man, and as a leader. We should give him his own credit. Okay. Irrespective of any flaws. Nobody's perfect life. So it's another era now.
Okay.
Asiwaju is now writing a legacy that will never be forgotten. So we should all join hands to support him in this legacy journey.
Kabiyesi, prior to elections, there was tension on the land in the sense that, certain policies from the, present government forced Nigerians to adjust to hardship, adjust, one way or the other, which people thought was anti the ambition of Asiwaju. He had to be against his ambition, because if Nigerians were made to adjust a few weeks to elections, and in that kind of hardship, which we're still going through right now, you know, it would seem like the house was against itself. What would you advise Asiwaju to do going forward to earn the trust of Nigerians again, taking over, you know, upon taking over of office?
Well, Asiwaju as a strategic leader is very strategic in his thinking and his thoughts. A lot of people don't really know him. But if every Nigerian can get close to him, they will know the kind of capacity he has. He has so much capacity, and I believe so much in him, and he will resolve this thing. To me, if such a thing wouldn't have happened, I would have been worried that will he emerge the way he has emerged, because naturally he must emerge out of controversy. Controversy is actually part of his own strength. That gives him more courage, more advancement, and it gives him more room to think. You know, Yorubas will say, out of every adversity, something great will come out. So these are adversities that will make him perform. These are adversities that has happened to Nigerians. Unfortunately, it's not a house that is divided against itself. It's just a platform for Asiwaju to show his capacity to perform. And we should give it to him. He surrounds himself with good people. And I pray this time around he will continue to surround himself with good people. Because a lot of people that are around him, they are very expectant. And I don't want them to be selfish. I will appeal to everybody around him. I need to appeal to them that they should put the interest of Nigeria first before their interest. Because a lot of people, they will start to jostle for position here and there. Knowing him, he's very wise, very smart. He wants to make a legacy for himself. He has gotten the platform. And to the glory of God, I am very convinced he will make that legacy for himself. Because by virtue of being a Arole Oduduwa, I've been very close to him. I've been close to where he reasons. So thank God that he emerged. And for me, he needs to form a national government, national unity government. Because you shouldn't see this thing, and he actually said it in his speech. He has extended hands of fellowship to Labour Party and PDP. We need to work together in the interest of Nigeria. Yes, they are aggrieved. He will continue to approach them for the betterment of this country. He must not get tired as a leader. He's now father for all. And we all have a lesson to learn from the opponents. The likes of emergence of Obi. Obi is now a force.
So we could get a few more questions to you. Kabiyesi, so please, in your view, what is your assessment of the presidential elections and the National Assembly elections that took place on Saturday? What did you notice? What did you see?
For me, it's like I said earlier, it's a watershed. When people say it's not a free and fair election, I just laugh. It's just a mirror of what is happening in Nigeria. You can see clearly the voting pattern followed the line of religious and ethnic voting. Honestly, that's the thing. Look at the demography, look at the statistics, look at the spread of everybody. So for me, I think it's fair. Maybe I will not use the word free. I think it's a fair election. And it shows the current tempo of Nigeria right now. So Asiwaju Bola Ahmed has a lot to do. And he has said it all. Now he's a servant. He needs to listen more. He needs to listen more now. Advice from left, right, center, even from opposition. That's what a servant is. Whenever you're a servant, they will call you, come and do this, bring this. If you have experience having a servant, you keep calling that servant to do this, to do that. At the end of the day, you will realize that the servant has mastered everything. So it's a servant, yes, yet he needs to master a lot of things in terms of leadership. So we believe in him to put a lot of things right for us in this country. We have suffered enough, and we believe in his capacity. And a lot of people that think, hey, he's not feeling fine, maybe they are not close to him. A lot of social media routes. He's very strong. How many young men can do what he's done? He's been to several states, several times, sleepless nights. He hasn't slept. He went to deliver a speech, acceptance speech, few times. I asked him, how do you rest? He will tell me, Kabiyesi Odunso. Odunso in Yoruba land means, it's easier said than done. So he's mentally sound and alive. Let us walk around him.
Okay, let's take a short break. When we come back, we continue the conversation. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. We still have the Royal Majesty Ooni of Ife with us. So Miriam had a question. Go ahead.
Yes, so Kabiyesi, after all said and done, here we are. We have a president-elect. And then we have people who, because of this, feel that they are aggrieved. Some political parties, some other candidates, some youths. Do you have any words to say to them today? Just what words do you have to say to people who may be feeling aggrieved at this time?
Yes, I have what to say to them as a royal father. I met all of them. They all played very pivotal role as patriotic Nigerians and political platforms. The truth be told, we have to move on in Nigeria. Nigerians have suffered enough. Definitely they will go to court for redress, but in the interest of progress of this country, we should all join hands. And all of them did fantastically well. They did fantastically well, and we can see how the leader emerged. Like I said earlier on, a very humbling result. Very, very humbling result. So in the interest of Nigeria, it has been established now that our vote can actually count. It's now a theory of Labour Party and Obi. Peter Obi has proven to Nigeria and Nigerians as a whole, if you believe your vote cannot count, and I want to give that credit to President Muhammadu Buhari, it's a very solid legacy that he has left.
Yes.
A lot of people underrated Peter Obi as the underdog, but you know, he had a very good spread. He had a very good numbers of people that came out to vote for him. And within a short period of time, Nigerians, they warmed their hearts towards him. It's not all about money. It's all about money this time around. So we are getting there as a nation.
Yes.
It's a nascent democracy. So anybody that wants to joke with those third forces or opposition now should get serious. It's now work of servants. Leadership in Nigeria is getting to stewardship role. You have to serve people. You are the one that said you want to be president, governor. Look, this time around, more than 6 governors lost their seat. Asiwaju even lost Lagos. Lost Lagos. It's something that has never happened in the history of their country. That's his political base. And that's a very humbling result that came out for him to be a Nigerian president. So he needs to show empathy and show commitment across the entire country. And the aggrieved political parties, I know, yes, they are very aggrieved, but Nigeria is bigger than all of us. Nigeria is bigger than all of us. You know, in Yoruba land, we pray this prayer, it means that the legacy of our children, we shouldn't use it as our fortune now. How are we going to fight in the interest of Nigeria, appeal to them.
Yes.
That
Let's get one more question across, Kabiesi.
Yeah.
Ima.
You've said it all, Kabiesi. You've talked to the youth, you've talked to the electorate, you've talked to the elected, you've talked to the aggrieved parties. I most appreciate you for that. But we would like to ask, how is it back home? How is it in Ife? How is it in the palace with the Oloris?
We're talking of Nigeria now.
Yes, they're all Nigerians.
We can talk about that later. So
but everyone is well.
To the glory of God, as a custodian of our heritage and culture, as the spiritual head of the entire world of people, all is well. Everything is fine. We're all excited that tension in the country is coming down. So the Oloris are fine, and I have professionals around me that are Oloris, and we're good. So all is well.
Thank you so much, Kabiesi. Thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts with us this morning. That's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we move on to yet another topic. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're expecting to have a guest join us and continue this conversation. But in the interim, we'll be looking at the presidential-elect's acceptance speech. And he had a couple of highlights, which I have here. So he says, the era of renewed hope. He says, my fellow Nigerians, I'm profoundly humbled that you have elected me to serve as the 16th president of our beloved republic. This is a shining moment in the life of any man and an affirmation of our democratic existence. From my heart, I say thank you. Whether you are batified, articulated, obedient, kwankwasia, or have any other political affiliation, you voted for a better, more hopeful nation, and I thank you for your participation and dedication to our democracy. You decided to place your trust in the democratic vision of Nigeria, founded on shared prosperity and one nurtured by ideals of unity, justice, peace, and tolerance. Renewed hope has dawned in Nigeria. What are your thoughts about this acceptance? There are other aspects that he talked about. He focused on the youth. I think you should give us some of the aspects as well.
Because for me, actually, that's what I highlighted. Because, you know, as I said from the beginning, and INEC has said it, this election was about the youth. And so I feel that the youth would want to hear from the president-elect what the plans are, you know, and his message to the youth is that to you young people of this country, I hear you loud and clear. And I just hope that this speech would be, you know, in the coming months and the coming years, that we would see that the government of the day has truly heard youths loud and clear. And he says, I understand your pains and your yearnings for good governance, a functional economy, and a safe nation that protects you and your future. So I also love that, the breakdown. That I hear you loud and clear, I know your pains, and we got it. What are the things, what are those pains? What do you think we're asking for? And for me, if you are able to list some of these things, if you're able to break it down, so it shows to me, okay, you you get it. And now we're going to now hold you accountable for those things that you say you understand that we're asking for, that we're yearning for. And so for me, this is a government, from the speech, it looks like a government that is understanding of the climb. Youth-driven. They will question you, they want feedback. And I hope that this message will sort of give the youth some hope and also encourage them, you know, to work with the coming administration. Because he says here as well that we cannot do this without your effort. So it has to be harmonious. And that's why I'm saying for anyone who's feeling aggrieved or anything, we have a process. We need to do this the right way. And then for the gains, for those who have won, the president-elect, the party, you know, this is not a time for gloating. I always say that the people that gloat are just first-timers into election. You don't gloat. This is about us. If we choose the right person, we all win.
It will reflect.
If we choose the wrong person, we all lose, whether you gloat or you don't gloat. This is a time that we must work hand in hand. So my prayer is that this president-elect and his upcoming administration would be the government that truly understands our pain and addresses it. Towards the election, when we're coming in, there were just so many. You mentioned earlier, when we're talking to KBC, the policies that came in. So it even made everywhere quite tense. We would like to see that, that things will be addressed quickly. And we also would like to see youths involved in the coming administration. We want to be listened to, want to be represented. So I'm looking forward to, this administration, and I'm hoping that we have made the right decision.
Yeah.
Also, I love the fact that, he talked about his opponents at the elections. Let me quickly quote, he said, "To my fellow candidates, former Vice President Atiku, former Governor Kwagwaso, former Governor Obi, and all others, I extend a hand of friendship." And he said it was a very competitive, high-spirited campaign that they all led. He says, "You have my utmost respect. Political competition must now give way to political conciliation and inclusive governance. During the elections, you may have been my opponent, but you were never my enemy. In my heart, you are my brothers." Good. And I want to take it from that point. As long as the goal is still the interest of Nigeria and Nigerians, there must be collaboration by, the winner and the other opponents. As long as, because what we used to see in the past is that when this friendship is extended after a loss, other parties now come with their share of the cake demand. So we are no longer a cake for sharing.
No cake.
Yes.
The cake is finished.
We are a people, and we have shown that we will demand accountability. So there's no paddy kind of arrangement going forward. Vice President Atiku has been there for years. If he has any experience that will better the well-being of Nigerians, you can borrow from that as a winner when you get into office by advice to the winner of these elections. Former Governor Peter Obi has any experience that can better the lives of Nigerians. Please feel free to jump beyond party lines and differences and borrow such policies that will better our lives. Let it not be, because it is my own legacy I want, where you will see no continuum in office even within the same party. Anything that this government has done,
right,
that they have done right, please continue to advance that cause. Anything that they have done that has forced hardship on Nigerians, find a way to ease and better our lives. One of the policies I'm looking forward to is the cash withdrawal limit, because I have seen how people have suffered. We now write paper for fish at Yolu's place, where we will go and pay at an account. They will take 6 hours to confirm, and she still has transactions reversing.
Yes,
and the poor woman is not as educated, so all she thinks is that everybody is out to defraud. Imagine how us having to say, no, that's not the intention. Banking, internet, she doesn't know these terms. And women are such strong, important family members when it comes to the economic fabric of families, that you don't want to disenfranchise somebody based on the formalities of a school or lack of it. So we need to do better. We need to carry policies that carry our people along, not the elites and educated along. Our people as a people must be able to live dignifying lives in their own birth countries and not, live abroad. One of the other things is, use, grow, and consume Nigeria. Let's see our leaders use, grow, and consume our own. Don't live in Dubai and run for presidency in Nigeria and go back to Dubai.
Okay, let's take a short break. When we come back, we connect to our guests. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. To continue our conversation, we have Malik Ado Ibrahim, presidential candidate of the Young Progressive Party, YPP, to give us his own assessment of the conduct of the general elections. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing today, sir?
Not too bad, thank you.
Okay.
A new day for Nigeria, so yes, considering everything, it's a good morning.
Okay, fantastic. So tell us your own assessment of the conduct of the general elections, which took place on Saturday.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think as a Nigerian, I want to just say that congratulations to the winner. You know, elections are never perfect. Democracy is not perfect. I see that, you know, there's going to be a lot of rancor, but, you know, there are rules. And in a democracy, you have to go through these things. It's never perfect. The biggest democracy, or the one we all look up to, the United States, had the same problem on January 6th. We have to congratulate the winner. We have to come together as a country. And yes, it wasn't the way you dream it to be in an ideal world, but Nigeria must continue to exist. Nigerians must go back to life, and a better life than we had before. And I pray that the mandate that has been given to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is one that he will solemnly hold and hold it to reckon with the Almighty, because this is a time for him to turn around this country. I do like what he's saying about young people being involved in government. I hope he's true to that word. And just one word of caution, really, to an adversary and a winner. You know, there's going to always be a winner, and there's also going to be a loser, and in this case, many losers, is to try to bring this country together, to try to unite us, to try to put together as much as possible a government of unity. We're just afraid at the edges right now, and people are not happy, and they want a better country. And I hope this is his moment in time, his legacy to improve Nigeria, to take us where we want a leader to take us. And I pray that he's inclusive, men, women, Christian, Muslim. I believe that this is his time to shine, and I pray that the Almighty gives him the strength to do that.
Okay.
Okay, you were one of the candidates in the elections, and just before, you know, the final results were announced, we saw some parties forming a unity, an alliance against the declaration of, you know, the final results. What was your take on, you know, how they comported themselves, the team with Dino Melaye, as well as the alliance between the PDP and the Labour Party, and just before calling for the resignation of the INEC chairperson?
So let me put my own personal take here. I think that the elections, however great we wanted them to be, they were not held in a dignified manner. I think it was flawed. But elections are never going to be perfect. You know, we live in an imperfect world. I think joining forces at the 11th hour is a little bit silly. If there's no saints here, we're all sinners. And what we're trying to do is run a country, not an ego. So for me, you lose, you do the right thing. If you want to go to court, the Constitution is there, the Electoral Act is there. Follow the rules. Don't start new rules just because you lose. Sore losers are never a good thing. An alliance. Look, we started this journey on our own. We stayed on our own. We have ideals. We are young progressives. We have the ideals of the party. We did better than we did last time. We're certainly not sitting there thinking that, you know, we can win this thing. We want to move Nigeria forward with young people. And I believe that in the light of everything that has happened, it's a learning moment for everybody, PDP, LP, even YPP itself. You go back, you reorganize, and you go for victory the next time. There's no referee here that is going to change the rules halfway through the game. So the alliance was just sore losers. I think they need to come together, congratulate, go to court if they feel aggrieved. Personalities are now spoiling the game. You've got people insulting people and taking this into the mud. Nigeria is better than this, and we need to get out of this mud. And we need to work with the president-elect in finding the right kind of government that's going to take us out of this mess. and one that unites Nigeria. I'll always stick for my country, and I don't believe that this is about me. It's about the 200-odd million people that want a better tomorrow. And I just pray that Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is going to, just do the right thing. Right now, there's a moment to make history. I pray that he does so and he brings the country together.
Okay.
Yeah, so your opinion is very gracious. I mean, not many opposition, especially very soon after an announcement, come across that way. So my question would be, what do you think would be the role of political parties like yours, when the new administration comes into power? What is the role you play as opposition? Because we complain a lot that we have these parties, we don't see them, we see you only every 4 years when the elections come. What are you supposed to be doing between now and the next election?
Well, the unfortunate part of Nigerian politics is winner takes all. It takes all the oxygen out of the room, you have to kind of reconfigure yourself. There's not much you can do between now and the election, the next election time. If you have ideals, and like we do, we're going to work on those ideals and build a different, a stronger YPP going forward. You can only be in opposition verbally. You cannot change the rules. The House of Assembly is there. I think some things have to change, though. I think we need to look at being a direct opposition to government, to talk to government directly. It needs to be inclusive, and where they step out of line, we're there to help them get back in line. I hope egos will not come and be bruised this time. We've seen a lot of things go wrong. I hope that the negativity or the critique of Mr. Tinubu going forward, he will take it positively and alter the style of government at the federal level. This is not about dominating, this is about being inclusive. He's reached the epitome of political office. He needs to bring people together and not separate them. Our job as a different political party is to build. We're not here to go into government or to throw the country into disrepute. We're there to build a better country, and an opposition should do that with dignity. This is a new Nigeria. I'm a young political entrant. I'm not here to throw a grenade in the room and close the door. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to hopefully bring my skill sets. I know what I'm good at. It's security and power. And where the government steps out the line in those areas where I can give advice, I will do that. But we're not going out of this. We're going to change the political environment for us as a party.
Okay, Malik.
And we're going to be in this.
Okay. So I believe the reason for assessment is to understand what worked and what could have worked better. So in your opinion, do you think INEC delivered on its promise, and what could they have done better?
Well, please, this is not my party's view, this is my view. For what we spent, I heard a few days ago that an event planner would have done a better job with security, with food, and even leave with goodie bags after voting. It was a poor job, a lot of money spent. The independent electoral commission of this country should be independent. One of the things we need to learn going forward is those structures that need to be independent are independent to give confidence to the Nigerian people.
Yeah.
Whether you're Muslim, Christian, from the north, south, or east. The CBN failed us completely. It's an independent structure. It overstepped its boundaries, and I hope that we will correct that. INEC did not do the right thing. We had 4 years to figure this thing out. We didn't even have satellite connectivity, which you could buy for the moment and deliver these votes in the right way without all this. I mean, sorry, it's nothing about the win. It's about the process, and the process is completely has to be restructured. It has to be independent. But when the leader picks the independent electoral body and the personality there, it's hardly going to be independent. So we as a country need to think of a better way. And we cannot control the electoral strings and the purse strings of this country from the villa. We have to look at other ways to do this so that we can give confidence to Nigerians that we are being heard and we're not being played with. Please, here's my plea in all this to all political parties. If you want a third rail, reduce the numbers of political parties. Those votes were all bifurcated, and we weren't able to come together. If you want a different kind of governance, put different people in there because we're more the same. Cross-partying, it has demolished the political atmosphere in the country.
Yeah.
We're not bringing in new blood. And I think that the independence of our electoral body has to be something that shines through. We need to bring security back. We need to fix power. We need to get our educational process in order. We need to figure out what healthy Nigerians must be like. These are the things to fix now. Fighting, arguing, those are things for the court. But we must remain Nigerian through all this. And I just plead with all my political adversaries or those that were in this race that there's a time to fight and there's a time to admit defeat. You're not going to change the rules now. It's impossible. So I congratulate Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC. I just pray that they do not gloat, that they do not have punitive measures, that they realize that they've got continuity and that hopefully they will continue the good things. They will revisit the bad things that have happened, and we've seen them. We can all attest to those things, and bring new energy, new life, new life into Nigeria by not taking the people as usual. Too many insults, too many negative things that were done this time. And I think that if we take the Mandela mindset, let's face it, the man was a terrorist, was caught and became a folk hero. And he lives in everybody's mind as the example of a freedom fighter. In today's world, he'd be a terrorist. Let's understand that if you are victimized, if people have come after you in the wrong way, you've lived a lot longer than you're going to live. Make a difference in Nigeria today. Bring along the next generation of leadership so that they feel that this country also belongs to them. Bring women back into the fold. Let them see what can be done. You have a wife that's been a senator. Let her be a role model to other people. She shouldn't be in the villa as a housewife. She should be in Nigeria as a role model and to encourage women to come into politics. They're just as important. As I've always said, they're 50% of the population and they gave birth to the other 50%. So
Mr.
they should
Malik,
be 50% representative.
A final question for you before we go.
I believe that young people...
Just a final question, yes. A final question before we go. You ready?
Okay. So I would like you to, advise young people, because we saw a 27-year-old become a federal reps member from Kebbi State in these elections. And you being from the Young People's Progressive Party, what would you advise young people going forward to, to look towards?
Well, we saw what the Labour Party did, and congratulations to them for putting up a good fight. Young people can be heard and seen. The way to be politically involved, or the way to get a better country, is to be politically involved. Do not shy away from it. If you leave a void, the wrong people will come into politics. We don't want them learning from the mistakes of the elderly, let me put it that way. We need new blood. So if you want a better country, get involved in politics. Know where you want. Look for idealism and mentoring. Don't just think that politics is there to make money or to drive around with a siren vehicle. Have policies, have vision, and then make that vision count for your country. We have one Nigeria. I love this country, and I'm sure a lot of us do, but that flag, that name must stand for something, and this is the time to do it. We have a generational change coming. This generation that has just won will not be there the next time if we do the right thing. Young people can come and take this thing back at the ballot box. I hope that Mr. Tinubu will do the right thing and encourage young people to get involved in politics and to show and lead by example by including them, whether it's in his party, from other parties. We need an inclusive Nigeria. So again, congratulations to APC and to Mr. Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president-elect of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Once sworn in, he is my president. I'm there to, is our president. We're there to show a better country and stop criticizing out there. Let's be critical and ask for a better country by putting their feet to fire at the House of Assembly, at the Senate, at the judiciary, and at home. We need a better country. We can only do it ourselves. Nobody's going to come do it for us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malik, for being on the show this morning to share your thoughts with us. We really appreciate you. Thank you so much, ladies. That's all we can take on the show today. We'll come your way again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.